folks, welcome to episode 14 of an ongoing series where we basically take the camera anywhere we want and we try to find some new secrets and discoveries to some of our favorite games. And with that said, let's get started. So the very first thing that we're going to take a look at is the Playroom for Pikmin 2. When you zoom the camera out, it actually looks really creepy. Combine it with the music, it's incredibly creepy. And if you look off into the corners, you can actually see that the planks of wood have their own separate entities. And even though it shows itself in the corner of the room, I'm not sure if that was really the intention. Because if you zoom past the wall, you can see that the entire floorboard has its planks separated. Hey, do you like developers secretly giving themselves credit? Do you like bubbles? Well, then you're gonna have a great time right now! So if we zoom out the menu screen, we can actually see that Toyota, who's the game's menu designer, gave himself a little bit of credit outside of the menu screen. And he also seemed to have a huge affinity for bubbles, because every time you zoom out the menu screens for any part of the game, you will find a ton of bubbles. The man loves his bubbles. Hey, did you ever wonder to yourself, how did they get the shadows to work in Pikmin 1? Well, of course you didn't, because you just figure it comes from above. Well, you're entirely wrong. For some reason, it actually comes from below. Yeah, oddly enough, below every single outdoor stage in Pikmin, there is a dome underneath that has all the shadows, and then it projects itself onto the surface, rather than coming down from the top and creating a shadow on the bottom. It's definitely one of the more bizarre facts, but you know what? I'll take it. So next up is a beta area left inside the game, and my goodness is it a weird one. So the first thing you're going to notice is that everywhere on this map it says Yaku. I'm not exactly sure why it says Yaku, but Yaku Yaku Yaku. But even more intriguing to me is the fact that this beta area has 3 glass soda bottles. In fact, it's the same exact one from the Pikmin shorts that Miyamoto himself wrote. Miyamoto was also the director of this game, so just imagine. Since the beginning, he's affiliated Pikmin with these soda bottles, and he carried that thought with him many, many years into the future when he was able to write a short for himself and wrote an entire short based around that bottle. It's actually pretty incredible to think about. So Pikmin 2's menu screen is even more interesting than Pikmin 1's. For one thing, they actually rendered in an entire tree just to pull off that small sequence. And if we position the camera to make it look like we're at the base of a tree, you look up, you realize how small you are, and I don't know about you, but
I feel just like a purple Pikmin.
And actually another interesting thing about this menu is that those Pikmin that you see to represent the title screen don't actually exist. In fact, what you're seeing are colored silhouettes to represent the Pikmin, but they aren't actually there. It's just little shadows. And I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't mention this, there's actually a cloaking burrow net hidden behind the menu screen, but only in the seasons of fall and spring. Oh yeah, I love the caves, but I've always wanted to see what it looks like when they jump in the hole. So let's move the camera slightly downward and see what happens. Whoa! So apparently the captains stay the normal size, but the Pikmin shrink down to an even teeny tinier version than they already are. It's crazy, man, it's crazy. And here's our next discovery. You see it? No? Well, okay, we're gonna have to zoom in then. Little closer, and it looks like a bunch of black sesame seeds. I'm kind of reminded of another underappreciated franchise. So both of the level select screens have something interesting to hide. On Pikmin 1's, for example, there's a spotlight that they didn't use. And maybe they were going to use said spotlight to follow Oliver's ship around on the menu screen. I mean, if that was the case, I'm glad it didn't go that route, but it's still very interesting nonetheless. And in Pikmin 2's menu screen, we can actually see that there's more, well, you guessed it, bubbles. But not just bubbles. This time around, we actually see that there's sunlight beaming down on the planet. Now, you may be surprised to find out that this is actually a special effect. And when we look at the level select screen completely on its side, you can see a very beautiful sunbeam that they actually used for the stage. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to walk into the light. Okay, so quick spoiler warning, I'm going to be doing the ending to Pikmin 1. This is going to be my live reaction, so you've been warned, and here we go. Oh, there's black ones! There's pink, this is probably, okay. Okay. This might be an indication of something in the future. And that clip is an excellent reminder why I read off a script now. So while you can see these onions simply by completing the game, it's a lot harder to see them because it's in standard definition and because the onions are so far off in the distance. And the colors that you can see here are black, light blue, pink, orange, and light green. Well, We already got pink, and technically we got black with the rock Pikmin, so hey, when are we getting the rest, Nintendo? So I'd like to finish this episode with one more beta stage, and that is for Pikmin 1. So this stage is particularly lengthy, so it'd be a major waste of time to make Oliver run all the way through. So instead, I'm going to take this camera here, and we're going to do a little bit of a game tour. You know what? Something about this seems kind of familiar. I can't put my finger on what. But on a serious note, they actually tested around with pitfalls on this stage. Which, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the original Pikmin had pitfalls of any kind. And you know what? I can kind of see why. When I take Oliver over there himself, well, he's kind of stuck down there with no way to get out. Okay, but if that's everything to show, we should probably hop in our spaceship and take off. So, anyway guys, that was the Pikmin episode. Whoa, hey, we just dropped the Pikmin. He's dead. Thank you guys so much for watching. You're probably one of few, because Pikmin's a little bit of an underrated game, so not as many people will probably pick up on this episode as some of the higher profile games. But I appreciate that you've made it this far and that you enjoyed yourself. Next week, we're not going to be doing any streams for the upcoming episode. It kind of conflicts with the schedule that we have when we try to make the episode, but we are still going to do streams. So if you hop on my stream account on Twitch, we will be doing episodes of games we've already done before. So we're going to try to find new things, or just take viewer requests as far as what we're trying to find or where we take the camera. So if you show up, you get to decide. And so for next week's episode, it's going to be a really, really big one. It's either going to be Super Mario Galaxy 2 or Sonic Adventure. So you guys can decide on the poll down below. And hey, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. This is one of my favorite games. So again, this is so much fun to do, especially with the live stream. So thank you guys for showing up for that. And I will see you guys later. Take care. Adios! Goodbye! Hey, what's going on, Olimar? What is going on with Olimar? What's his hands doing?